Hi, and welcome back to Genshin Impact. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be giving some much needed attention to our little old cat girl, whatever the hell she is, a bartender, that's right, aka arguably one of the best, if not second best support in the game. Sorry to say no one in this world can defeat Bennett, but they get damn close. And she is very much one of those characters. If you happen to get Diona, you are in very, very good company. There are very few people that do things as well as she does, and she does many things well. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into and break down why it is so sought after and so damn OP in this game. So why is this charming little cat girl so damn good? Well, she dominates two ways of playing. Her E skill throws down a shield, a cute little cat shield that has cryo resistance, but it is the density of this shield that makes things kind of absurd, and it is the rate in which she's able to reapply or use her E again that makes things crazy and frankly makes some redheaded boy cry. Regardless, her E skill is very, very, very good because not only is it shielding you, but when you activate it, it's going to fire out icy paws. It's just a quick damage hit, pretty good, but you can also hold down this ability and you'll have a longer shield and fire even more icy paws and have a denser shield. So that in itself is something hugely sought after. If you're just getting into the game, shields are bulletproof, huge things, allowing you to just kind of circumnavigate all kinds of damage in general. Super, super good. Shielding in a lot of people's eyes overbeats healing, but guess what Diona's ult does? This is why she is kind of future-proof and also a very, very good character in Genshin Impact. So, Sayu's ult essentially puts down this giant cocktail mix of healing and cryo damage, but do not be fooled by the cryo damage. Cryo damage is just there to be a kind of application of cryo and not a heavy-hitting dot or damage source. So it's only there if you have water to constantly lock people down every now and again to apply cryo so you can activate a melt or something like that. But you got to make sure you detonate with fire in order to get that to be working for you. Regardless, it also heals the absolute hell out of you. And guess what both of these abilities scale off of? HP. And guess what most people, if you're farming domains regularly, are going to have a lot of HP, HP, and HP sets. Which is why Diona is also insanely good, is because she is so versatile and easy to use. You can pick any artifact that you want, but we'll get into that in a little bit later, that she doesn't really have a perfect one, but she does have good ones. But I digress. You just pick basically HP, HP, and HP on her last three artifact sets or artifact items, and you'll be good to go. You will never die as long as they're leveled up. You will never die. What? What happened? Why are you holding it? Oh, it's HP. It's still got 228 crit damage and 3 crit. What? That's a what? Shit. Why do you have that? Why does it have to be HP Gauntlet that has all the... Also, this is good. Like, what? Why? Anyway, I gotta get her a new set and get that to someone else who could use it. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, forgive me. It's just, Jesus. I guess, no, I don't know who I could give that to. It's just kind of weird. Anyway, so that alone should clear things up about why Diona is one of the best characters in the game. Not only is she cryo, but she also heals the shit out of you and shields the hell out of you with very, very limited investment. Your shield will most likely never break if you have HP going. If it ever does, it probably just ran out, so then you'll have to survive for like 3 seconds, which if you have her ult and you have any other stat built and substats like energy recharge, you should be good to go to just back-to-back and throw her ult down, and that'll keep you alive for the in the downtime. So yes, that is very, very good. As of weapons, it doesn't really matter, because again, she's not trying to to heal the hell out of you. I would suggest energy recharge or anything like that, because again, you're not trying to deal damage with this character, so it's mainly just about how tanky her health is, and because both of those abilities, her ult and her E, scale off of that, it's a really easy character to build. Now, all that is very, very good, but does it make her a runner-up for good old Bennett? Kind of, a little bit, but not quite. Bennett does so many things too well. He not only protects you, but he also amplifies you a lot. So why would Sayu be a contender? Well, ladies and gentlemen, happy you asked. It makes the video easier. Sayu's amazing 6 constellation. Yes, this is very, very far down the line, but if you keep picking at least 2 banners and you go all into them to try to get a 5-star and go to pity, you should get a lot of Sayus and get them. Also, she'll probably arrive in the shop every now and again, so buy her if you can, when you can. This skill is as followed. When your HP is below or equal to 50%, you are going to be getting healing bonus by 30%, which, by the way, Sayu can directly tap into with her ult. So she'll throw down your ult and you'll get even more healing if the person on the field that you're playing is going to have less than 50% health. But this is the big one. If you happen to be plus 50% health, which is very likely if you have her built, because nothing is going to be able to crack through your shield, and on the off chance that it does, you just throw down your ult, heal up a little bit inside it, and you should be good to go. But anyways, when you're above 50% health, you are going to be getting 200 elemental mastery. Now, if you're just getting into the game, don't worry about it, but needless to say, this thing defined endgame. Elemental Mastery and Vaporize Melt and etc. Hopefully we'll get another thing to rock up the meta, but that has largely been the endgame. That has largely been how you can just destroy things in one hit, which is a little overblown, but it also is one of the things that can make everything just easier and give you a lot more damage in a burst. So needless to say, this is a very, very good constellation, although be weary with the, you have to be plus 50% health, so characters like Hu Tao aren't going to really be able to tap into this, so just be careful. Now, are there any other gold in her constellation skill tree? First constellation is pretty good. After your ult ends, you'll get 15% energy back to Diona, allowing you to easily back-to-back it, especially with how much you're going to be reapplying your shield. You're going to have your ult a lot of the time. The second constellation is pretty good. It's going to buff up your E's damage by 15%, and also make your shield that's given by your E extra tanky by 15%. But the big thing that this one does is it gives your allies in co-op their shield. So Diona is one of the most co-op friendly players, if they ever add content for co-op that hopefully is permanent. But anyways. And her fourth constellation is kind of useless unless you want to play a really unique and strange build for Diona, which is DPS Diona, but basically when you're in her ult, you gain a 60% more aim shot charge rate. So you're going to be able to aim shot like crazy fast, but until they... I don't know. I don't really know how this could be good. But maybe... Who knows? Anyways, weird people around us. And as for her talent priority, you're going to want to skip the ever-living hell unless you're that weirdo that we just talked about when it comes to her basic attack or her combat talent. For a normal attack, you're going to skip that altogether. You are going to invest heavily into Icy Paws. You do not need that much healing, and because your Icy Paws, if you have HP, is going to be up a shocking amount of the time. So you're not going to really need that much healing if you're using this properly, so I would highly advise just leveling up Icy Paws. I have it leveled up at tier 5, but because I have max constellation, I have it at tier 8 because of scaling. But this, at tier 5, honestly got the job done, especially if you have HP, and you have some HP in your substats, you're going to be good to go. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And again, honestly, the other thing that I would highly advise for Diona is energy recharge. So HP and energy recharge are the only things you really need. But here's my weird build for Diona. That's what I would advise for everybody else. But then there comes the question of, well, what artifacts should we use, Grin? I see a lot of people use Noblest Oblige. Why, oh why are we not using Noblest Oblige? Well, this right here, my friends, Diona's ult lasts 12 seconds, but unfortunately is on a 20-second cooldown. That is a pretty good amount of time to not have Noblest Oblige 100% up. Noblest Oblige gives you all your party members an attack buff for 12 seconds on Ultimate Burst activation. But what happens when you can't activate your ult again? It's just a cooldown that doesn't, to me, really synergize with him, but it's not bad by any means, but it also gives you Ultimate Burst damage, which your Diona's damage from her burst doesn't really help. That doesn't really help with her thing, because it's not really meant to do damage. What it could be used for is to apply an ult when you can, and in some ways to buff up that ult's damage when also possible. I'm using Emblem of Severed Fate because the energy recharge is quite nice because, albeit Diona being wonderful, she also does have a crazy energy cost, but if you have constellations, it becomes significantly less bad, and if you use her charge shot, you're going to be getting tons more particles back. or if you use the hold E, you're gonna get just a ton of particles back as well. But this does just give her ult just a little bit more bite, as well as it makes it come back faster. But for the keen-eyed among you, you might notice that, well, Grin, neither of these really synergize perfectly with, unfortunately, Diona, right? Yes, unfortunately, not so much. There are other sets like Maiden Beloved can work, although I don't think you need more healing than she gives. The cryo set's more meant for DPS cryo people and such, but there's not a good support shield kind of artifact set specifically for Diona yet. In the game. There are options, but there's not a perfect synergistic option yet, which to me just makes Diona all the more valuable. She's able to get by with basically nothing. There's no weapon that massively was made for her that can amplify her and completely make her come undone. There's no artifact set that is like that, perfectly meant to amplify what she does incredibly well. If there was ever something that scaled up based on HP percent into your action skills E, or your action skills alt, or your attack, or whatever it could be, that would be perfect for her. That way it would counter and incentivize you building a ton of HP, and then just it would intrinsically feed into everything. But right now, you're kind of in a weird split the difference kind of place. And again, I think if they ever release an artifact set for Diona, it's gonna be just a nightmare. She's gonna be even that much more powerful. So, quick recap for the lovely and crazily cracked Diona. She shields, heals, and does cryo application. And she amplifies the ever-living hell out of your elemental mastery, if you have enough constellations, granted. Diona is also easy to build and has crazy amounts of options because she is so easy to build. Again, whatever artifact you choose, just go HP, 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 and try to aim for some substats for energy recharge just to be able to get to your ult, and you should be right as rain. She also has boatloads of potential because she does not have a perfect Diona artifact set yet in the game that scales off of HP in a valuable stat for her yet. Again, very low investment needed. You do not need to like 90 this character. You do not need to give her a 90 weapon. You do not need to give her basically anything for her to make you an unkillable god. That also applies one of the most valuable elements in the game, and generates a shit ton of particles for your team because her E comes back quite fast. And just like Bennett, she can be plugged into any team. If you're playing Hootown, you don't want the healing, then absolutely just use her as a shield character with her E. If you're playing a character that could use a little bit of healing but also use some shielding, bang, use Diona. If you're using a double cryo team, you have cryo resonance now. If you're using Eula or whatever, this becomes incredibly good. So my friends, with gameplay being fire round behind me, let me actually showcase some of her best teams, or at least teams that come to mind. You put Diona in a team, you kick a cocktail into the field, you jump in there with Yenfei, and you have max constellation. Even if you don't, her shield's gonna keep the squishy and very easy to bruise Yenfei safe. Bang, you're gonna be killing. Not only that, but you're gonna be applying vaporize and detonating really easily. Fantastic across the board. Love that. Anyways, not only that, but Yenfei is a fire user, and she's going to be hitting really hard in an AoE field. And again, if you do have max constellation with Diona, you're going to be getting elemental mastery skyrocketing. So it's going to make the vaporize hit the melt hit even harder. If you have these two people, I feel like they perfectly synergize within each other. Maybe even a little bit more than Zhongli, who is the king of shields, frankly, and you don't need much of anything else if you have him. Which is why Diona I think is in a weird-ish place. That's why I think she does get beat by Bennett, because they don't have a character kind of like a Zhongli that does one of the things that she does too well, perfectly. There's not even a competition, kind of thing, you know? Quick thing to note, if you're trying to stack a crazy amount of elemental mastery with Sucrose's scaling, Diona's scaling, and of course Kazuha's scaling, it conflicts and it only goes up to a certain point, basically. So it kind of half works. It kind of works with Sucrose or Kazuha, or Diona and Kazuha to some extent, but it doesn't perfectly synergize with all three, unfortunately. There could be a character down the line that does do that. Diluc also works in a big way, because Diona puts down a giant alt kind of cocktail field. She's going to be mass applying in a massive AoE cryo, and then Diluc, you can set off his alt and just essentially wipe the floor with all of them, and that's a great combo as well. And ladies and gentlemen, what you guys have been seeing a lot in the background is one of the characters I actually have built and ready to fire off and use, but that is Xiangling. Again, with the massive alt utility of Diona's massive cocktail field, and of course, Xiangling just whipping around her massive fiery staff, knocking everything dead around her. really works. It synergizes. Nice. And of course, the lovely Shinsho also works greatly. Basically freeze locking a lot of enemies, but Shinsho just does boatloads and boatloads of damage. So it's a little overkill for for him. Anyways, you could throw anyone there. Also, Klee kind of does work, although I will say Klee applies things a little bit too fast. I guess if you just use her charge attacks, it's not quite that bad, but just something to consider. Hu Tao, it conflicts a little bit with her just because she needs you to, if you have max constellation at least, she wants you to be below 50 health. Hu Tao does, and Diona will heal the shit out you and shield you, so you probably will overheal with her, so be a touch careful. She doesn't really synergize with Hu Tao despite her being on her banner. Now, if you want to go for a little bit of an unconventional build, you can go with Sayu, Kazuha, and Venti for a weird bit of business, which Venti, because of Swirl, basically massively scales up based on elemental mastery, and also Sayu does the very same. The only thing is going to be dipping into quite a lot of animo, and not nearly enough of other elements. So just take that into consideration if you're trying to come up with this weirdo build. Yeah. In fact, Venti, Sayu, and of course Diona, and then maybe Shangling might be it, frankly. Good amount of CC. And last but not least, the lovely and wonderful and my favorite character, Razor, who scales off physical damage. Of course, Diona is going to do cryo damage, but I will say doesn't synergize as much as others because Razor's only really there to just get a nice cryo application with Electro to superconduct, lowering their defense, but doesn't really get a benefit from the elemental mastery things. A little shame that physical doesn't get to have any touch on that. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all that is Diona. A very interesting character, again, a very, very good character, but I think it's because she is so good and so baseline good with what she can do that she's kind of underlooked to some extent. The reason why is because you don't need to invest heavily into Diona. Level 70 with a crap weapon and just a little, actually honestly insane artifacts, but like not insane in the way that you want her to be. They got like her crit damage and whatnot is just sky high for no reason. But she is just a character that does not desire or want a lot from you and can deliver onto you a lot. The only cost is her being, you know, the good old tsundere type. Anyways, regardless, again, she has boundless potential because she does not have a perfect artifact set that really works with what she gives, and she also doesn't have a weapon that perfectly synergizes with HP gain, at least a bow as far as we know. So the future could be very, very good to Diona, given what the designers choose to do for upcoming characters. But ladies and gentlemen, that was all that is Diona. Thank you so much for your time. We do stream every single day except for Wednesday and Monday, 5 p.m. Mountain Time. If you want to stop by the stream on YouTube on the weekdays and weekend on Twitch, I would love to see you. And lastly, any support on the video, I would highly appreciate. Thank you kindly. And again, if you have Diona, build her. If you feel like you're dying constantly, you feel like you're not able to pass certain content in the game, she is your lifeblood. And it's quite the immortal character, meaning I don't think she'll ever age completely out of the meta because she does not just one thing really well, but frankly 4 or 3 things. Well done, Diona. Regardless, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time again, and goodbye.